Leapin' Lanny Poffo, it's another week. It's another week here. Come Get Some, the ultimate wrestling podcast and podcast for just about everything. Pop culture, wrestling, whatever. Popcorn.
Hey.
Pop Goes the Weasel. We're back here with another excellent episode, and I know it's going to be excellent because we're doing our No Mercy review. No Mercy was last night, coming to you from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. A double main event of epic proportions last night. Did they disappoint? We're about to find out. So, Professor, how are you this week?
Very good. I'm here.
He is here. I'm Dr. Rips. This is Professor Chewie. We don't need to tell you that because you already know. Come Get Some pod. You know what the deal is. So, No Mercy 2017. A lot of expectations for this show. With Braun against Brock, with Reigns against Lesnar, Reigns against Cena. 2 WrestleMania caliber matches happening on a B show. So, very interesting to see that. But, so, it started off with our favorite wrestler, Elias. We love to walk with Elias, okay? It started out with Elias versus Apollo Crews. Nothing spectacular in this match except for the fact that our man Elias won. What are you thinking about... Well, first of all, I'm happy that they even included him in the pay-per-view, even if it was the pre-show.
I'm sure he is too.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a nice little boost on his paycheck. Elias, I wouldn't say getting a push, but certainly hasn't lost yet.
Yeah.
So right now he's kind of in a good spot. Apollo Crews is no slouch, so Elias ends up beating him. What did you think of Elias coming out on top of this match with Apollo Crews?
I mean, as long as you're saying that he hasn't lost, that we can remember. I don't know.
No, I don't think he has.
So that is a good push. I mean, didn't he beat Finn Balor at one point?
So technically, in his first 2 weeks, he beat Finn Balor and he beat Ambrose. So
who's ever done that?
Nobody. Well, that's the thing, and right now it feels like, they're not pushing him, but they're also not making him lose or burying him, which is a good thing. And I think that as time goes on, listen, we're two people who watch weekly, and we get involved and invested in the characters, and we both agree.
Not in the matches, though.
Not in the matches. Well, the matches suck.
Well, we tried, but we got kicked out.
Nonetheless, Elias is one of the guys that right now has piqued our interest, and we're definitely digging. So happy to see him getting a good spot, not getting buried, and taking their time with him. You know what I mean? Not rushing him into any kind of program, not burying him to Finn Balor or burying him to Ambrose.
Which is almost the opposite of what they're doing with everybody else. I feel like they're rushing feuds and burying people.
Thank you for the hearts. We appreciate that. So right now we're doing the live feed here on the Come Get Some podcast, but we're also coming to you from Periscope Live, kind of like the inner workings in the back. So just to make it a little bit different, if anybody has any questions or any comments about No Mercy, we'll field some. But I will make sure to say it, so for the benefit of people watching this not live, we will answer any questions and tell you what the questions are that come to us. So the show opens up with the Intercontinental Championship match. the Miz with the Miztourage against Jason Jordan. Obviously, what happens? It's a pretty good match, competitive. Now, the first thing that you notice about this is that the crowd absolutely was all over the Miz, loving him. Loving the Miz. And you know why? Because the guy comes out week in and week out and works his ass off. He's never injured. He's there every single week. Do you play pinball machines? That's a weird question. We just got a question. Do we play pinball machines? I haven't played a pinball machine in... I can't even tell you the last time.
25 years, maybe.
It's been a long time for me, yeah. I didn't realize that they still kind of had those with all the technology and video games we have today. Go pick up WWE 2K18, okay? Thanks. Where were we here? Oh, so the Miz. There's guys in interviews, there's when all this Enzo talk was going on, people were saying that there's not many people who've been blackballed in the back, in the locker room, that have made it. And the Miz is like the one guy because he kept his mouth shut, he did what he was supposed to do, and now he's in a pretty good role. The guy comes out and gives some of the best promos, that's for sure, and speaks the truth, playing on things that people talk about on the dirt sheets and other kinds of things. But right now it seems like he may start himself into a feud with Roman Reigns after what we saw last night. We'll discuss that. But the match itself... crowd completely behind the Miz, so I was hoping that Jason Jordan wouldn't win because it would have been a disaster. But the Miz Taraj gets involved. Miz hits the skull-crushing finale, 1, 2, 3. After the match, Jason Jordan says the Miz sucks. Big deal. What did you think of this one?
I think it really shows you the importance of having mic skills. Because if a heel can pull that off, and we're rooting for the bad guy because he's so good on the mic and he has that charisma.
For sure.
I mean, if Jason Jordan had that kind of charisma, I mean, not that he couldn't, it's going to take a while for him to get good on a mic probably, but...
Jason Jordan right now, and it's obviously a huge comparison, and I don't mean the guy that this guy became, but Jason Jordan reminds me a lot of The Rock. When The Rock first came in, he was Rocky Maivia, and he was a goody two-shoes, and he had the same similar kind of build and almost the same kind of look and everything. Not the attire. I mean, The Rock had curly hair, and he had frills and stuff all over him. But again, another guy who was just kind of cookie-cutter, blue chipper, great athlete, didn't find his own until he became a heel and was in the Nation of Domination. I think that'll eventually happen with Jason Jordan, but he's going to take his lumps right now. He's one of those guys that nobody really cares about because he doesn't have the skills set yet, other than his in-ring work, which is great. So he doesn't win the Intercontinental Championship. He did say something about a rematch, so maybe we'll see that this week on Raw. But it does look like at some point later on in the evening, The Miz had an altercation with Kurt Angle, and we'll talk about that a little later. Second match of the night, the least invested match. We keep talking about this, but Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Okay, Bray Wyatt wants him without the paint. Gets him without the paint. Finn comes out in a new kind of gray outfit, gray trunks, gray boots and knee pads, and a grayish jacket. Very, very good match. Very entertaining. But again, clean victory for Finn. What does this do for Bray? Where does this leave Bray? I was hearing some rumors that maybe Bray would take on Strowman next. That would be the big, and which would be really cool. There's a built-in angle there, Wyatt family. However,
beards.
Hey. Why would you make Bray lose if he's going to be going up against a guy like Braun Strowman?
That's even bigger competition.
Yeah, listen, you could have had him, poke him in the eye, kick Finn in the ball, something, and then hit the Sister Abigail and win. But they didn't go that route, so clearly, I'm thinking at some point soon Finn may be going against Lesnar, as this fill-in. It's clear to me now, since Braun didn't win yesterday, I just spoiled it, that they're going to keep the belt on Lesnar until WrestleMania, until Reigns dethrones him, which sucks, but not that it's going to be Reigns, but that we already kind of know. There's no real, surprise element to it. But nonetheless, Finn Balor gets to win, so I would imagine that that was the blow-off of the feud. On Raw this week, we'll probably see them both go in different directions, hopefully. Unless
Bray wants to fight the Finn with his original attire,
he's
not the gray.
All right, I'll tell you what, shave your face and then I'll fight you.
That's right.
Whatever. No investment there, but a very good match. I will say that. It was a good match, and it was entertaining, and Finn gets the win. So the next up, we had the Tag Team Championships with Ambrose and Rollins, 2/3 of the Shield, defending against Cesaro and Sheamus, the Bar. And excellent match. About 5 minutes in, Ambrose sends Cesaro into the corner like a slingshot, and Cesaro hits his mouth legitimately on the ring post. Knocks his front 2 teeth out, also splits his lip, needed 3 stitches. That was after 5 minutes, and then he continued for another 11 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Showing the kind of guy that he is. I already had a ton of respect for the guy. But this for sure solidifies the fact that he's a legitimate, hardcore badass. If somebody knocked my front 2 teeth out, I'd be crying like a bitch. Yeah. So
now he's missing a Cesaro section of his teeth.
He certainly is.
Ouch.
He got stitched up afterwards, and supposedly he was having some dental work today. So, but another great match between the two. He kept going. Rollins and Ambrose eventually do win the match, but from what I read today, Cesaro got a standing ovation when he came to the back from all the crew and the wrestlers in the back there. So kudos to all 4 of these guys for another really good match. Again, it's actually a year to the day that Cesaro and Sheamus came together because Mick Foley put them together. And within that year, they've actually become a very good, formidable tag team. And eventually...
Kilts aside.
Kilts aside, and entrance changing about 40 times.
Yeah.
But listen, they're always entertaining to watch. They've had some great matches with Ambrose and Rollins, and the Hardys, and even the club. So,
Does somebody have his teeth? Like, did a fan take his teeth, or did
you know
he
what?
get them back?
I don't know if they found them in the ring or if they kept them. I really don't know. It doesn't look like his whole teeth got knocked out. It looked like, like 2/3 of each tooth got knocked out. But either way, it's still kind of, it's still kind of rough. So, but either way, we've got the defending tag champs keep the belts. So we'll see if they start changing directions for them too, or if they're going to have another match with these guys. We'll see. It seems like Jeff Hardy may be injured, so I don't know if they're going to keep this going or if they're going to, he's been wrestling with it actually for a couple months. We'll get to that later. Anyway, keep going with No Mercy. The next matchup was the Fatal 4-Way.
Fatal 4-Way.
Or was it a 5-way, actually? It was a Fatal 5-way.
Fatal 5-way.
Fatal 5-way.
Have they ever done a 6 or a 7? No.
Six-pack challenge.
Six-pack challenge, that's right.
Yeah, you can call it a seven-tuplet match, whatever you call it.
7 minutes in heaven. What? That's
Whoa!
No.
Whoa! Boof! That was a Teen Wolf reference if you didn't. Alexa Bliss takes on Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, and Emma. Similar to the Fatal 4-Way that happened at SummerSlam with Braun and all these guys. Even though Braun didn't win, he made himself that night. And they didn't really do much with that, as we'll talk about. But I think last night, although Nia Jax didn't win, I think she was the star of the match.
Yeah. Some
Some big power moves. It was kind of like her coming out party, and it was great to see her give that effort. And even though she didn't come up with the win, I think that the plan going forward is to have her against Alexa Bliss, and eventually probably Asuka when she debuts at TLC, which we learned last night is going to happen as well. So a lot going on here. It was actually a really good match. Everybody kind of getting in and out. The schmaz happening. Finishers happening, but eventually what happens is Nia gets thrown out of the ring. She hit the rail on a spear attempt in the corner, and Alexa hits Bayley with the DDT, pins her 1, 2, 3 clean. Boom, we got reigning champion defends the championship successfully, and we see a very angry Nia Jax standing at the bottom of the ramp, staring her down. So, what did you think of Bliss maintaining the championship?
I'm a big fan, so I'm happy. I'm happy about it.
You are happy.
She makes a great champion.
She does make a great champion, and I'm actually glad she won too. I feel like if Sasha Banks won, she'd lose it tonight on Raw. If Bayley wins, people are just going to boo her. The only person I could have seen coming out of this with the championship was Nia.
Emma. What? I still like Emma. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Emma too. I don't like. I like her old gimmick
shtick,
better. Yeah,
yeah.
she needs some kind of thing.
I think she should take Cesaro's secret agent.
His teeth.
His teeth. She palmed them. I saw it, but
She should be Emma Bond.
something like that. I mean, she has an accent. She already had the gun glasses.
Yeah, for no reason, the half
Uh,
glove that she takes off
yeah.
halfway down the ramp. Just
Have
stupid,
gloves that
stupid
come
stuff like this.
off.
Yeah, it's just the tips of her fingers. But yeah, so Alexa Bliss ends up retaining. I would imagine that we're going to start seeing Nia Jax and her kind of separate themselves and go in one direction to for the championship. So that was that, and then we come up on. Well, I'm going to talk about this one first, even though it's going a little out of order. Enzo Amore versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. Another uneventful match. Neville's pretty much toying with him the whole time. Enzo. What ends up happening, the ref turns around, Enzo kicks him in the balls, pushes him over, and scoops him up and pins him, and walks out with the championship. What do you think of
Scoops him up like a
Trash Talker Skywalker being the new Cruiserweight Champion?
I call it beating and cheating. Enzo is either getting beaten to a pulp or he's cheating to win. Shine that.
What is it?
I'm like the Vision from Avengers.
So, yeah, you got the eye in the middle of your head. That's pretty cool right there, actually.
Powers.
Ooh, it disappeared. What do I have? Do I have anything on my head? It's just a big shiny spot. I look like Carl Anderson, just a little fatter. Anyway, so Enzo Amore ends up being the champion. Nobody can believe it, and I'm not sure anybody really cares anymore. I think everybody's kind of losing their luster for Enzo.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the crowd reactions are there anymore.
He's still selling shirts, though.
He must be, otherwise he wouldn't be the Cruiserweight Championship, and there was some backlash, and we'll talk about that as well. I don't know where they're going with this. Obviously, it's this cheating to win angle. Will Neville get it back? We'll see. Or maybe Neville won't get it back, and they'll put him in the main roster because, let's face it, he's on a different level than most of those other guys. So maybe they feel Enzo can carry the division right now, and I don't know. But either way, Enzo is the new Cruiserweight champion, and that was the way that it was. We did have the match of the night to me up next. Well, before this match, actually. Reigns against Cena. Two guys who people constantly say can't wrestle. Two guys that are very polarizing. Two guys that most of the WWE universe can't stand because they're kind of force-fed. Even though they secretly do love them all. Yeah. It's not like Cena's my favorite guy, but I look forward to a Cena match because I know it's going to be good. Same thing with Reigns. Everybody hates on Reigns, but you know what? He sold me when he had some good matches with AJ Styles. Every AJ Styles could have a great match with a paper bag, but Reigns, he probably has. Yeah, you're right.
Let's test it out.
But
that's his next opponent for the next
paper bag is taking on tomorrow night on SmackDown. It's going to be an open challenge. Paper bag against AJ Styles.
Paper bag.
That's it. PB against AJ. So, nonetheless, though. I knew that these guys would tear the house down, and it would be a WrestleMania-worthy match, and it was just that. It seemed like Reigns obviously became the new Superman. Everybody calls John Cena Super Cena.
They call him
Soupy Cena.
Soups McGee.
Soups McGillicuddy.
Dip some crackers in them.
Yeah, man. Basically, Cena gave him all he had. He gave him a super AA from the top rope. He also gave him 2 successive AAs in a row. One of them, he gives him the AA and he flips him over and then gets him up and walk. Guy's ridiculous strength, but
100 AAs in that match.
A lot of A's. But basically, it comes down to the fact that Reigns ends up getting a Superman punch out of nowhere, and then he is going to spear Cena, gets the 1, 2, 3, show of respect afterwards. They hug, they talk. Cena must have said something real nice to him.
They sat down, they had coffee.
What kind of oil are you using in your hair?
Exactly. I love it.
But nonetheless, a showing of respect at the end, and Reigns leaves Cena in the ring to kind of get the glory. Reigns leaves, and Cena is kind of sitting in the corner like, what the hell just happened? Maybe I'm not the big dog anymore. And the crowd, to their... this broadcast is being monitored by U.S. Homeland Security. Well, good. I'm glad to have you guys with us. USA all the way, brother. I'm not sure what kind of a threat we are, but that remains to be seen. Nonetheless, Reigns gets the win. Cena gets thank you Cena chants from the crowd, which is a classy move. Listen, obviously, the crowd doesn't really hate Cena. I mean, they're probably tired of him, but, let's face it, the guy puts his all into it. And, he's pretty much kind of telling you now that he's pretty much done as a full-timer. His body can't really hang that much anymore. But he'll be there from time to time, and it'll always be his home. He's going to obviously try to be the second coming of The Rock. Not sure if that will happen, but good luck to him. It was a great match. What did you think?
I think I'm going to try his tap-out body spray.
It'll make you walk through walls.
That's right.
It was pretty cool. It was a really good match. I was really happy that both of these guys performed, and hopefully they'll stop getting so much crap from people. They won't, but... nonetheless, they both put in a huge effort. It was definitely match of the night, and they should both be commended for their efforts on that one. So good job, both of you guys. We know you're watching. Main event of the night, match that probably everybody was looking forward to. Universal Champion Brock Lesnar taking on Braun Strowman. Okay? This match disappointed me in just about every single way. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Even the suplexes that Lesnar were giving Strowman looked weak because Strowman's such a big friggin' dude.
They would kill us.
He would have snapped our necks in half. But clearly Strowman is a different breed. And, one F5 put him down, and it was a very uneventful match. 6-7 minutes. Nothing strange. Nothing serious happened in this one. No believable near falls. There was one time where Strowman got him in the power slam, but wasn't able to cover him. Really, just a disappointment in every way. Coming off of that Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, you were thinking these guys were going to collide and it was going to be amazing. And Braun was up here. The crowd's behind him. He's got this monster push, and all of a sudden you have him lose to Lesnar in like 6-7 minutes, clean in the middle of the ring with one F5, and you're like, now what?
Yeah.
You just built this guy up to just knock him right down.
And he's just going to have to climb back up. How long is it going to take him to get back up?
Well, that's the thing. Like, you got this guy who's bigger than life. He's way bigger. I mean,
bigger than God.
When you see him against Lesnar, like, he's way bigger than Lesnar.
Yeah.
Way bigger. And Lesnar's trying to throw him around like a rag doll, and it was just not a good match. The storytelling wasn't there. I mean, they've been having these awesome brawls. Like, they could have just, like, tore it down, and it just didn't happen. Were you disappointed in not so much in the finish, but the way that the match went in general?
It didn't seem, like you said, 6 minutes, something like that. It just it's just too short, uneventful. As far as the ending, I just can't, I don't know.
I was very dumbfounded, and it doesn't take much to do, but I don't know, man. I just didn't think it was going to be that crappy. I didn't think it was going to even the Goldberg Lesnar match was better. The one where Goldberg ended up losing to him.
At least Lesnar leapfrogged over him when he tried to spit. That was pretty cool.
There were some spots, but it just left a lot to be desired last night. And the fans booed Strowman. Not his fault. He's not the one booking it, but fans booed him because they were expecting more. And
Heyman's still alive, right? Always picking to get eaten or die.
I think so. I think he's still around. I hope so. He's the man. So we clearly have Lesnar. Now they're going to give him some filler from now until April. So it's going to be October in a week. So you've got 5-6 pay-per-views and some filler time. I would imagine they're going to throw Finn Balor at him at some point. Maybe Seth Rollins. Just to get some kind of things going and to lead you up till Royal Rumble, where who the hell knows, but obviously, Reigns is going to win it, or somehow or another, they're going to get back to Lesnar and Reigns at WrestleMania, where that seems to be the consensus everywhere, is that the coronation for Reigns will be at WrestleMania when he beats Lesnar. So I wish we didn't know that already, and I wish it kind of wasn't that way, but it is, and that's why I think people are kind of so pissed off and they don't want to see him win, because they expect him to win. So they're looking for something different to happen, to be swerved, and I hope that they do. Couple news and rumors from this week. First of all, we want to send our condolences to the Heenan family. Probably, in my opinion, the best manager / commentator of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing more entertaining. I sit with my father still once in a while, watch the WWE Network, and when he comes over, I'll show him some old prime times. We used to watch primetime wrestling like weekly. I don't remember what. I think it was on different nights during the week. It's at certain points in years, but Gorilla Monsoon and Heenan sitting at that desk, just ragging on each other, and when they would be doing announcing, the same thing. I mean, there was nothing better than that.
They could be like talking about knitting, and I'd still watch it.
Give me a break. Gorilla Monsoon was the best. It was the best combination. The chemistry that they had was ridiculous. I was at the Westchester County Center the night that Gorilla Monsoon threw Bobby Heenan out of the WWE for good, and that's when Heenan went to WCW. I was also at the Primetime Wrestling where Heenan introduced Ric Flair for the first time. It was the first time Flair was on WWE TV, and he had the WCW belt, NWA belt, whatever you want to call it. So, R.I.P. Bobby the Brain. Had some medical issues for years, throat cancer, and
he didn't look good.
Before he passed away, I mean, he had so many surgeries that his face kind of looked like my nose. So, but we definitely want to send our condolences out to the Heenan family.
And now Pauly Shore's the only weasel.
the weasel. Like we said, Braun Strowman got booed after his match by the crowd. Clearly an indication that they were not happy with the outcome or the match itself.
See some fans shaving their own beards off in the stands. Get this off me.
Probably the worst news. We have some good news and some bad news. The good news, Maria and Mike Kanellis are expecting their first child. Bad news is we won't see Maria on TV a whole lot, I'm sure. But
which I think they could work into a storyline where
they should be the love thing.
The baby should look like Sami Zayn. And then
come out with a big red beard.
Yeah, just put a beard and a red hair.
That would be awesome, actually.
This is a ginger.
What do you think about Russia?
Best vodka.
I mean, vodka. I don't know. I really, that's a loaded question. What do I think about Russia? I think it's a big country.
I wish I was Russian. They're tough.
They are tough.
They produce a lot of tough MMA fighters.
I think Ivan Drago is one of the best boxers of all time.
I must break you.
If he dies, he dies. Wait, hold on. Can you tell me what this means? Because I've always wanted to know this. In Rocky IV, where he's fighting Drago, I think they actually have the subtitles, so it's probably stupid of me to even ask. But what is Yatsubia? Anyway, much love to the motherland. So Maria and Mike Kanellis are expecting their first child. Congratulations. They haven't been used on TV. Apparently, Kanellis had some kind of substance issues in the past, and he's been fighting them, but he's been doing well. I don't think that's the reason he's not on TV. Okay, thanks. You're very welcome. Thank you. I don't know. Bad news. Jeff Hardy seems to have injured himself in that Iron Man match at Great Balls of Fire. He's been dealing with it for 2 months wrestling, which probably didn't do him any favors. Now it seems like he's going to have rotator cuff surgery. Will probably be out for a long period of time. What do you think about that?
It's pretty crazy because I didn't realize he was injured till now, and I've seen more than a few matches since then. I never would have known that he was injured. So it just shows you how tough these guys are.
These guys are really tough. Tough. They definitely are, and I'm sure that he doesn't want to miss any time. But at the same time, he's not getting any younger, and if he gets it done now, at least hopefully it'll get repaired, and he can come back strong. But maybe this will give Matt a nice opportunity to have a nice little singles run.
I've been trying to repair this pec for the last 10 years.
Our Periscope just died, but that's okay. Anyway, so we're wishing Jeff Hardy a speedy recovery. Want him to come back. Hopefully he comes back awoken, broken, whatever, and this will lead to Matt doing something. Hopefully. 205 Live stars are not happy that Enzo won the title. What did you hear about this?
They're not happy.
They're not happy that he won. All right, good.
Yeah, they're not. I don't know if it's part of the show though, or if they're serious. Because I saw some stuff on Twitter, so I don't know if they're supposed to be for the storyline unhappy, or if it's actual real kind of like. I'm sure maybe it's a little bit of both.
I was just going to say, my guess would be it's a little of both. I think it's probably put on by WWE, but the things that were said by these people are probably exactly how they really feel.
Yeah.
And I can understand it. He's a loudmouth guy that nobody really likes, but he has a fan following, and they're putting him there to kind of drum up some ratings, and only time will tell if it'll work or not. So we will keep you abreast of that stuff. I said breast. So that's it for the No Mercy review and a couple of news and rumors that are going around. We'll be back, obviously, either later in the week or next week with our Raw and SmackDown review of this week. And I guess, soon coming up, we'll have some Hell in a Cell preview with some predictions and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying over there? I'm about to go eat some chicken. But, yes, do you have anything else for us, Professor?
Yeah, actually, I have a suggestion because, Apollo Crews, I think he's a really good wrestler, and I feel kind of bad that he's maybe not over yet with the crowd. So
he's got no personality whatsoever when it comes to talking.
He's got a lot of physicality, so I'm suggesting maybe like a change for his character. He could be like Apollo 13 Crews, where he's like a spaceman. He comes down to the ring,
He floats to the ring.
He could blow some moon dust in people's face, We have a
Houston, you have a problem.
Exactly. WWE Universe, we have a problem.
Apollo 13 Crews.
One small step for Apollo.
I think I like it. I listen.
It's one giant leap for the Titus brand.
Oh my God,
it could work.
The guy's got all the tools, man. He's got everything except mic skills. Like he's just real corny when it comes. He's always smiling, and if we could see a mean streak in that dude, man, maybe some new tights or something.
Tights should be the difference.
Tights for Titus.
So it's
we
really
should start a campaign. That was a good suggestion. I think I like the Apollo 13 Crews. Or he can just straight up, call himself Apollo Creed and wear come out to Living in America and
the USA.
The trunks.
Yeah, the trunks.
I got you, Joe. So anyway, that's it for this week, guys. Come Get Some podcast, ripping it up again. Stay tuned for our next episode. Follow us on YouTube. Watch us everywhere that we are. We're on Facebook. Come Get Some. We're everywhere. So for the Professor, I'm Dr. Rips, Leapin' Lanny Pofowitz. We'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next week. Shamon!